Welcome back. Well, the SGX Nifty is now inching ahead. It's up almost 45 odd points, so get ready for a good opening today. KEC International has won new orders worth around 1,100 crores. This is across its transmission and distribution, railways and the oil and gas pipeline segment. To discuss the execution timeline and how the business is shaping up, we are joined by Vimal Kejriwal, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at KEC International. Mr. Kejriwal, good morning. You are winning new orders, but the margins continue to remain under pressure, perhaps because of the execution of legacy orders and continued losses that you're seeing in some of your verticals like Brazil. Wanted to understand from you, are any of these losses subsiding and will the margins continue to be under pressure in the quarters to come?
Good morning, Sonia, and thanks for having me. So, Sonia, we have had a margin concerns on two accounts, two headwinds. Basically, one was Brazil and second was the raw material prices, especially steel and aluminium. As far as Brazil is concerned, all our legacy projects will get over by October or max, let's say 15 November or so. So Q2 and maximum Q3 would be the last quarter where we would see a negative impact from Brazil coming in. So Q4 onwards, I think we have a good book in Brazil on supplies. It will start turning positive from that. As far as metals are concerned, so most of our legacy orders are now under execution, and to me, most of them will again get executed by Q2 or maybe Q3 also. But the difference between Brazil and metals is that we have announced almost 6,000 crores of orders, and all of them are at current prices or maybe even higher than the current prices. So once the execution of these projects takes off well, they have already started, but it will take some time. So the positivity from these numbers will also start coming in, and which should sort of neutralize the negativity from the earlier orders. So
just a follow up there, you said that all your legacy projects in Brazil will get over by October, and Q4 onwards things will improve. So what does this mean for your margins? You're still sitting at about single digit to 5% margins or so. How much could it improve to by the end of the year?
So what we have been talking about is that Q2 would remain at a similar level to Q1. Q3 we will start improving, maybe 50, 60 basis points, 70 basis points. It will to depend more on how much we are able to fast track execution of the newer projects other than Brazil. Q4, maybe another 100 basis points. And what we have been generally talking about is from FY24, we should inch back towards our normal double-digit margins.
Mr. Kejriwal, hi, good morning. That investor conference as well, where you addressed analysts, etc. This FY25 order book, is that a new number, 40,000 crores?
Yeah, Prashant, it's a new number which we had not discussed earlier. There was general discussion saying, where do you look at your order book going in a few years? And we expect, today my order book is roughly around 24,000 and odd crores plus another 8,000 crores of L1s. Okay. So we do expect that this year we should have an order intake of 19 to 20,000. So we were just saying that if you're growing by 15-20%, and the way we look at order intake is that it should be at least 1.2 times of the revenue forecast, etc. So we just added the numbers together and said, to have a decent growth of 15-20%, we should have an order book by 2 years ending at 40,000 or something.
I mean, the one segment which has been kind of doing very well is the railways as a segment, right? Is that, how is the momentum looking there? Are things picking up? Could you give us some more idea? Out of this 40,000 crores, what is the railways contribution going to be?
So just to address your first question, I think railways had been a bit slow in the last 2 years. Our order intake has been virtually flat. But this year, railway has surprised us. To be very honest, we had not expected that we will get so many orders. Even this order release has 40% from the railways. So, and it's happening both on the conventional side as well as on the metro side. On the conventional side, the Mission Raftar is doing very well, where we're getting a lot of orders for, speed upgradation on the metro routes from 110 to 160 kilometers. And secondly, in yesterday's order, we announced the first order on the train collision avoidance system, TCAS, which our ministry has been talking about it. So in JV, we got our first order. So, on the conventional side, we are seeing a lot of traction. Also, we have seen announcements of new lines, doubling and tripling, which had been sort of missing for some time. In fact, in our L1 order book, we have got a couple of orders which are on doubling and dash. Then coming to metros, although we have not seen too many new announcements, except the last one where the cabinet has cleared the Kochi metro. But, a lot of civil work has been happening on the metro. So now the electrification and other parts are happening. And we have been seeing a fair amount of success in that.
Okay, one perennial concern that investors have had is the high debt of the company, and that has gone up in FY22 as well. I know you did address these concerns at the analyst meet, but just for the benefit of our viewers, how much do you plan to bring down your debt by, if at all? What does it stand at right now, and what's the targeted debt, say, in the next 1 to 2 years?
So, Sonia, our overall debt, if I include acceptances, bill discounting, and everything, is around 6,000 crores. And we have been talking about bringing it down to roughly around, say, 5,000 and odd crores by this March end. In terms of working capital, I'll say we are today at around 150 days, and we have said that we are trying to bring it down to 130 days by this March end.
Sorry, bring it down to?
130 days.
130, yeah, no, absolutely, you have. And that's a bit of an improvement as compared to what you said at the end of the first quarter. So maybe things are improving at a faster pace.
Yes.
There is more visibility. So just on the other segment, the T&D side, is tendering, last time you were on, you said that you expect tendering to kind of pick up as well from Power Grid. Is that happening at all, or is there indication of that happening?
So, Prashant, in the last 3 order releases which you have had, each one of them has one order from Power Grid. Okay. And also we are L1 in orders from Power Grid. So clearly we are seeing Power Grid suddenly ramping up. And once the Leh Ladakh solar project comes up, where many of the projects have apparently been allocated to Power Grid, then that could be one piece. And the second piece, if you remember, we talked about the GIB case in Supreme Court.
Yes.
That has held back a lot of tendering in the Rajasthan solar area. Once that gets resolved, you will see a large amount of tenders being decided on the TBCB route, and Power Grid will get a fair share of it.
Okay. I just had one follow-up. You said that your current debt is 6,000 crores, and by the end of FY23, it will go to 5,000 crores, correct?
Yes.
But in the earlier interviews, you had also indicated that your eventual target is to bring down your debt to 2,500 crores. By when and how do you plan to do that?
No. I think there's a slight difference. That is actually the bank debt, which is around at 3,500 crores right now.
Okay.
When we say 6,000, what we are doing, Sonia, is we are including all the bill discounting and other acceptances, etc., which are technically not a bank debt, but analysts always consider them in debt because it has an interest cost.
Mr. Kejriwal, on that GIB issue, what is the timeline there? The courts have to take a stand, right? Take a view.
So as far as I know, Supreme Court has appointed a technical committee to look into it, to decide, at what voltage level, cables can be feasible, what levels you require. So our understanding is that the ministry has been saying that up to 220 kV we will go underground, and beyond 220 kV there is no choice. The costs are prohibitive, or it's not technically feasible. Something like that are going on. So Supreme Court has appointed a technical committee to look into all of this. Decisions were expected very quickly. Let's see how, because it is holding back a lot of solar projects and a lot of transmission projects.
No, so what next? I mean, will there be a definitive go-ahead from the ministry, or what should we expect in terms of next moves?
So the definitive go-ahead will come from the Supreme Court decision on this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once the technical the committee submits its report, and then the court will have to. Okay, got that. Mr. Kejriwal, thank you very much. Great speaking with you, sir. Appreciate you joining me on the program.
Thank you.
Thanks indeed. Anuj.